Hi cuties and welcome to another day of Litmas! Today we're going to be talking about my bomb books. Now, obviously I'm filming this much earlier than this video is coming out. The year has not completed, so I have not finished all of my bomb books. Please excuse the random squeakies or pig noises you might be hearing in this video. It's what Paul has chosen to do while I started filming. So we're going to look at the bomb books that I did read and some of the ones that I haven't read yet and talk about were they worth it. So if you don't know what a bomb book is, it is a book that I have owned since like 2019, 2020. It's been on the shelves for far too long. My reading tastes have changed, so I don't know if I want to keep them anymore. So if I don't read them by the end of the year, I have to get rid of them. That's it. And then we play Actually, and the more questions I get correct in Actually, the more I get to save from exploding, basically. I'm going to tell you if they were worth it or not. That's basically what we're doing, and I will be saving some of these if I get any questions right in Actually, but that's for later to find out. Some of these are on the current TBRs as well. I just haven't gotten to them yet, so I am hoping to read a few of these before the year is out, before they explode. So let's take a look at what we read. Well, in total, I had 67 bomb books. Normally I have 50, but we added a bunch of books. We had a few that got on this because of Actually last year. So that's how we ended up with 67. So I read 31 of these 67, putting me at 46% completed on these. So let's take a look. We have first off, Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. This was okay. I don't know if it really warranted me reading it. I found it intriguing. It's kind of a cozier, I don't want to say cozy fantasy, it's a scholarly fantasy where talking about a lot of research and things, and it was fine. I don't think I'm continuing in the series, so I don't necessarily believe that was one that was worth it. So that's a point to the, nah, I could have unhauled it. We have A Season of Spells, and I realized this book actually shouldn't be here. This one's actually the third book of the series, and it's the second one, Lady of Magic. Is it Lady of Magic or Lady Magic? That should have been in this spot. But either way, in theory, I am reading this after I finish editing all of these videos. A Skin Full of Shadows by Frances Harding. This was so different than what I thought it was going to be, but it was excellent. So that's a point to the absolutely it was worth it. It's kind of a middle grade into YA fantasy about a girl who is half possessed by this bear spirit, and there is conspiracies afoot. There's a lot of crazy things going on. That was absolutely worth it. We have 1,000 Beginnings and Endings by Ellie, or edited by Ellie. Oh, this is an anthology. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Don't know. This one is a possibility of just exploding if I don't save it during Actually. Same with Across the Universe by Beth Revis. I've been wanting to read Beth Revis, but I never get the opportunity to do it. So we'll see. But I haven't gotten it. I don't have any, it's not on any immediate TBR, so. Then we have All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. I did read this one. It was okay. Again, sometimes Maggie Stiefvater and I just don't mesh. I liked certain things by her. I don't like others. And this was one that I was like, it's fine. It had a lot of POVs. It had a lot of interesting moments. But I probably could have been okay not reading it. So I'm going to say it probably wasn't worth keeping it. It was still okay, but it's leaning more into the it didn't do anything drastically to change my reading experience or my life or anything, so yeah. Then we have two that I haven't read, and that is Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian and Be Not Far From Me by Mindy McGinnis. I'm hoping to save these. I still want to read both of these. I have read both of these authors' writings before, but I read Castles in Their Bone, which is a newer Laura Sebastian. Wasn't totally my favorite, so I'm hoping. But I heard a lot of really great things about Ash Princess before. And I do really like Mindy McGinnis's writing already. And this is a short one, so I should be able to get to it before the end of the year. Beware the Night by Jessica Fleck, I believe. Haven't read it yet. It was on a previous TBR. I think I was supposed to read this in October. I did not get to it, so hoping to finish it before the end of the year. Blanca and Roja by Anna Marie McLemore. I don't have any current plans, but this is one I'm hoping to save because I love Anna Marie McLemore's writing. Absolutely love it. So I just need to have a moment to do that. Book of 1,000 Days by Shannon Hale, I did read and enjoyed quite a bit. I would say this is it was worth it. I think Shannon Hale is a very talented writer. This is outside of the books of Bayern, but it is about a servant who gets trapped in a tower with her mistress because the princess will not marry this awful man. They're stuck in this tower for 1,000 days. And they do get out, but all the while, they are getting this visitor from a prince, but she's the one talking, not the princess. And so there's a bit of confusion of, identity and stuff in this one. It was really, really good, though. Next up, we have Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye. I'm hoping to save this one. I really, really, really want to read this. It doesn't end up on the TBR. Ugh. With City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab for her middle grade stuff. I want to read it. Haven't read it. Crown of Feathers by Nikki Palpretto. Again, one I'm hoping to save. I do have this on the TBR for the Rainbow Challenge, but it's a chunky one. We will see if I can get to it. I hope I do. Down the line, actually, Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. This was also on the current TBR for the Rainbow Challenge. Hoping to get to it. I like Amanda Foody's writing, so let's hope for the best. Don't Call the Wolf by Alexandra Ross. Again, really want to get to it. Hoping to save this one. Echo North by Joanna Ruth Meyer. Again, I want to save it. Let's hope. Then we'll get to some that I have actually read. We have Empire of Ivory by Naomi Novik. I will say, the more I read Temeraire, I feel a little less invested. I was really invested in book 1, and then my investment has slowly started to dwindle. I'm gonna finish this series, but I think the mistake is that I read the first book physically and then I started listening to the audiobooks, and I don't think the audiobooks really do it for me. So I might go back to reading this series physically, but I don't know. So was it worth it? It's kind of in between. Yes, because I love the series. Not for this particular book, because I can't remember a single thing that happened in it. Next up is Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson. Yes, this one was worth it. I was obsessed with the linguistic system. That's what I love the most about this book, is its use of how English would evolve over 1,000 years. It was so cool. It was so fun. I love that more than anything in this book. So yes, it was worth it. This is about a girl who is stuck in a machine, basically, in a kind of cryo sleep, and gets woken up 1,000 years later and discovers many, many horrible things. But it's really cool just seeing her interact and learn the way that English has evolved, and it's just so cool. It's so cool. I really, really enjoyed this. A lot of good twists. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I could have gone without this one. This did not follow the pattern that I love of Marissa Meyer, where Mr. Meyer gives me everything that I want, and she did that ending, and that ending ruined me. So, okay, it was worth it because it's reading Marissa Meyer, but I was so mad at the ending of this one. This does not read like the rest of her work, and I was very upsetty spaghetti about it. So upsetty spaghetti about it. So, technically I'm putting this in the, yes, it was worth it, but I'm mad about it. We have Horrid by Katrina Leno. I don't know if I'll get to this one. I don't even know if I'll save it at this point. We'll see. House of Salt and Sorrows. This is one of the best books that I read on the Bomb Books, I think. It's so good. It's a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. It's very dark. It's very intriguing. I loved how this went. I thought it was so well done. I'm now a huge Erin A. Craig fan. Absolutely, 100%. Yes, it was worth it. I hope you get this message by Faro Nazrishi. I'm hoping to save this one. It is a special edition that I own. I hope you get this message. There we go. In the Woods by Carrie Jones and Stephen E. Weddle. This was okay. It was weird. It did a lot of weird things. I don't know if it was worth it for me. I do think this could be very interesting for a lot of other people, but it was okay. It was okay. Oh, whoops. Oh, you can't see it. I'm so sorry, y'all. I didn't realize you couldn't see that. So there's Don't Call the Wolf. You guys didn't even get to see that. I cut it all off. Same with Be Not Far From Me. Didn't realize that until now. My apologies. So there's In the Woods. I did read it. All right. Kingdom of Souls is on the current TBR, so I am hoping to finish that one. Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kemmerer. I don't know, because now Bridget Kemmerer is a hit or miss for me. So we'll see what happens. Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. I don't think I'll be mad if I have to get rid of this one. I think I have owned it for too long, and it's like a sweet YA contemporary romance that I'm like, you know what? I think I don't need to read it necessarily. Lovely War by Julie Berry absolutely was worth it. Loved it. So good. It is a World War II historical fiction told from the perspective of gods, like Aphrodite. And I thought it was very interesting. It did different things with the gods that I enjoyed. And then it involves these lives of these human characters, and I thought they were very interesting. Just really, really good. So Julie Berry is really an excellent historical fiction writer, so highly recommend this one. Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I did read. I will say the book itself I enjoyed, but it is currently no longer worth it because of his actions for me. The book is great. Neverwhere is technically my favorite Neil Gaiman book, but I'm really upset with all the news that I've heard about him as an SA survivor. Really upsets me. So it gets an X out for that. Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. Also worth it. I really enjoyed this one. It's very emotional about these two little kids who spontaneously combust, and basically the friend of a super rich, awful person who comes to kind of take care of them. And she's awful when I don't like her. But yeah, I really liked this one overall. Absolutely worth it. This was one that was put on the TBR from me losing an Actually question, I believe. Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. I don't think this was worth it. Again, Victoria Schwab is another author that's a hit or miss for me. And I think the Monsters of Verity duology is a miss, in my opinion. So I didn't care for it. I really had struggles remembering what happened in the first one, and I'm struggling right now even to remember what happened in the sequel. So that was a miss. Pride and Prejudice and Other Flavors by Sonali Dev. This was a hit. This was a hit. This was really interesting. I do love, in general, a Pride and Prejudice retelling. This is a sort of gender-bent one. Talks a lot about class differences, talks a lot about generational trauma and family issues and stuff, and I really did enjoy that part, so I'm excited to continue this series. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I thought it was great. Fantastic. Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. I am struggling to remember what this book was about at this point. Oh, no. I'm confusing with In the Woods. In the Woods and Rules for Vanishing blend into one book at this point. So was it necessarily worth it? Now I'm remembering this one a lot more. And it was creepy. It had a lot of good creepy moments. But overall, it's not my vibe. It's not my vibe, so this one was not totally worth it. Sleeping Giants, however, by Sylvain Neuvel, absolutely was worth it. This was very interesting. It's an epistolary novel. It's got a lot of different data points because it's files. The theme is files, so you're reading files as you're going through this. I highly recommend the audiobook. It is a full cast. I've already read the sequel for this. I am hoping to read the third book soon, but it was great. It's great stuff. Very interesting. A lot of good plot twists about these kind of weird alien things that are like giant mecha robots that get dug up on the earth that we start to learn, kind of like kaiju, not kaiju, whatchamacallit, Pacific Rim, kind of in that vein of learning how to pilot these machines. And it's kind of like the early days of Pacific Rim at this point, but it was very, very cool, very interesting. Talon by Julie Kagawa. This was fun. I could have probably gone without reading this one. I am still reading the series, so in that sense, it's worth it. It is a very classic YA fantasy, but with dragon shifters. So I did enjoy this one. Is it necessarily something that I would have, really suffered not reading? No, but it was really good, so it gets the point. Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman is one I am hoping to save. Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I don't think this one was worth it for me. I loved The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. I was not into Bear and the Nightingale. It didn't vibe with me. I didn't connect. I had some moments that were great. It was fine. Whatever. The Beast Player by Nahoka Uehashi. This, I lied. This is my favorite one of the Bomb books. This is number 1 right now. This is so good. It's a translated work. It's combining the 2 volumes because it's like 4 volumes originally, and it's done into a duology in English. And this follows a young girl whose mother was a beast doctor for these things called Toda, which are like giant serpents, crocodile-y kind of things. And her mother is unalived by the people because she committed some kind of crime. And then she ends up kind of washed up on shore to this older man who ends up taking her in kind of foster daughter style. And that's one of the tropes that I love so much. But she's very clever and very smart. And she wants to learn about royal beasts, which are these weird chimeric creatures that are kind of wolfy, kind of bird-like because they have wings, they have talons, but they have fur and stuff, and they have snouts and very big teeth, and they're just really, 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 really cool. And so she ends up at this academy to study them and learns a lot more. And not even that, she teaches the teachers about stuff because she's seen them in the wild because they're different in the wild than they are in captivity. And stuff ensues. And I just love this. It was so good. Like, read this book, guys. I'm obsessed with it. I'm absolutely obsessed. I'm not obsessed with The Bone Witch, though, by Rin Chupeco. This was a miss for me. I could have gone without this one. I remember when I bought this from a Barnes & Noble when I was first getting into booktube and stuff, and it was a total cover buy, but it's not for me. It was not for me. Didn't care. The Book Jumper I have not read yet. Maybe we'll save it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly. Another one I don't know what's going to happen with it. Don't know. Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls by Claire Legrand. Again, I don't know what's going to happen to it. We'll find out after actually. The Cold is in Her Bones by Petronelle van Arsdale. This was interesting. I don't necessarily know if it was worth it. It was interesting, though. So it's kind of half and half. I'm struggling to remember everything about it, but I know it was about, like, women getting possessed, but were they really? So it had a bit of that feminist rage aspect to it. So I enjoyed parts of it, if I'm remembering everything correctly. Was it necessarily worth it? The Disappearances by Emily Bain Murphy. Don't know if we're going to save it or not. The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. This was worth it. This is a very interesting but it's a historical fiction on fascist Spain back in the day. I think the only thing I didn't believe in this is the ending of this story, because it's got these two, like, kind of young characters, and they get separated, and then years and years and years and years and years later, they are both still pining for each other, and that part I just didn't totally believe, but it's a nice thought. The Geography of Lost Things by Jessica Brody. This, I think it was worth it. I think Jessica Brody is just really talented. It took me forever to read this one, though. But it's really interesting I keep saying it's an interesting take on this. No, it's an interesting book about a girl whose father was very absent in kind of a disaster, person who left them with a lot of debt, and then leaves her with his car that she's trying to sell. She can't drive stick shift, so she enlists her ex-boyfriend to drive her all the way up north in California. On the way, they kind of go on this scavenger hunt because he's trying to prove to her that she doesn't have to sell the car, and they can do a trade-up thing where, like, you trade a paperclip for this and then you turn it into like $1 million kind of situation. And it's a lot about them healing. It's a lot about her healing with the father's death and her relationship with her father and what that has done to her. So overall, yes, this one was worth it. The Girl from the Well was another one that got put on the TBR from actually last year, and this one was worth it. Girl from the Well was good and interesting. I know Shayna wants me to read the sequel, so I do intend to. I do think it was worth my time. I had only a couple complaints about when they were in Japan, and then saying that there was no ketchup in McDonald's, which is a lie. The Girl with Seven Names by Hyung-So Lee, absolutely worth it. This was an Escape from North Korea nonfiction biography. I think they're all pretty much worth reading anyway. I enjoy reading biographies about this, like survival stories. I find them very inspiring, and I just really want these books to, more so than anything, I think Escape from North Korea stories highlight more the atrocities China commits towards North Korean refugees by still aligning with North Korea versus, I mean, North Korea is still really awful, but like they're so used to it. And then when they escape, they get even worse things happen to them. And that's why so many end up like wanting to go back. And then even in their treatment in South Korea, being very outcast there, I think a lot of these biographies really highlight the struggles these survivors endure outside of North Korea. And I think that's something that needs to be looked at a lot more in terms of helping reacclimate people into the outside world versus in North Korea where things are just awful anyway. All right, moving on. We have The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd-Jones. Hoping to save this one because I really like Emily Lloyd-Jones' writing. Same with The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. Haven't gotten to it, but I'm hoping to. I am currently reading The Poison Garden, so this one will be done. Is it worth it? I don't know. I'm not totally enjoying every part of it, but I've also just not had enough time to sit down and read it because I've been filming all these videos for y'all, filming and editing. And once I finish editing and filming, then we can get on to reading. The Power by Naomi Alderman. I just haven't gotten to yet. Will we save it? Will we not? I don't know. We'll find out. Same with The Reader by Tracy Chee. We'll find out. I hope to save it because I like Tracy Chee. So let's hope for the best. I did read The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. Absolutely was worth it. This is one of the middle grades I can highly recommend to people. It's a story about a girl and her dad after having lost their family in a horrific car accident. They kind of travel around in a giant school bus now and just go around doing stuff, but she needs to get back to her hometown because they're going to bulldoze a park where she and her mom and sisters had left kind of a time capsule memory box, and she's trying to trick her dad into going back. All the while, they collect this kind of ragtag group of misfits. It's found family situation, and it's just a really fun time. Highly recommend this one. There is a sequel, and I definitely need to get my hands on the sequel. Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. Haven't read it yet. I do hope to save it, because I need to figure out if this is a Maggie Stiefvater that I love or one that I don't like. We got to find out. Stormcrow, Kaylin Josephson. Excellent. Absolutely was worth it. And I want to read the sequel really, really badly. This is an interesting fantasy duology where there's these massive crows, part of this culture that are decimated by these kind of colonizing oppressors. And so it really takes a good look at grief and rebellion. So I really, really enjoyed this one. It's fantastic. So highly, highly, highly recommend that. The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill. I'm trying to remember things about it. There were good things and there were things that I didn't care about it. This one does follow very closely to the original Little Mermaid, which, if you know, does not end well. This one also does not end well, but it ends well in a sense. So yeah, was it worth my time? Not necessarily. I don't think so. Same with The Taming of the Drew by Stephanie Kate Strom. I did not enjoy this one very much. It had a lot of problems. It had a lot of problems that I didn't care for. So those two are definitely, no, they weren't worth it. The next two, The War Outside by Monica Hesse, I'm hoping to save. The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson. We'll see. I don't know. I don't even remember much about the synopsis. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong was not worth it for me. I really didn't like this one. I don't think I vibe with Chloe Gong's writing. Not worth it. But Pages & Co. by Anna James, that was. This is another fun middle grade series about a girl who has a special ability to basically bring out literary characters and chat with them. So she chats often with Anna Green Gables and Alice in Wonderland in this one. And we get other characters in the sequels. So we'll see how that series goes. But it is a fun time. Under a Dancing Star is on a current TBR. Hoping to get to that. Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I am just going to go ahead and unhaul because Amy Kaufman is too closely affiliated with Jay Kristoff and backed him up on a lot of stuff that was very problematic. So I'm kind of removing Amy Kaufman from my shelves just for a personal, I don't think I care enough to want to read their stuff if they're going to act like that, you know? All right, the last 3 we have are Warrior of the Wild by Trisha Levenseller. I'm hoping to save it. What the Woods Keep by Katja de Becerra. I won't be mad if I have to give it up. And then Wolf by Ryan Groudon. Absolutely was worth it. Loved this book. This is a motorcycle race in an alternate history where Hitler won, and our main character had experienced under her where now she can shapeshift, and she's trying to win this motorcycle race so that she can unalive Hitler. So it's great. It's very complex, and I really like it. So I'm really excited to read the sequel, Blood for Blood, which I just haven't gotten to yet. So there you go. There's the final count. I don't know how what the difference is. It's this many that were not worth it and this many that were worth it. I don't know which hand I'm doing. So that's the bomb books. We're not necessarily doing bomb books next year. We are going to do a 25 of 2025, which you all are helping me create. Lena really helped me a lot in 2 separate videos in helping create. So in the, I don't know which order this is in. So Lena has been helping me craft my 25 of 2025. You already saw in the unwrapping video, if you didn't already catch that one, guessing books, trying to guess the book by feel, basically. And those books that I did not guess ended up on the 25 of 2025. We have another kind of guessing game coming up, as well as any books in Actually that you guys recommend that I get the question wrong. Those will be on the 25 of 2025, as long as we don't go over. It might be more. Right now it's a 25 of 2025. We'll see what happens. But there it is. So that's what we're doing next year instead of bomb books. But yeah, there we go. That was today's video. What do you guys think? If you've read any of these bomb books, let me know. Which ones do you think I should be saving, from destruction, and which ones you're like, whatever. So yeah, there you go. Those are my recommendations. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Immediately, as soon as we start. What a bomb book. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. We have a big 1,000 Beginnings and Endings by So I hope to save. I hope I get you this. I can't talk. I hope you get this message. I just broke this. Oh no.